Hey guys, welcome to another Hunter video. I'm a Night Elf Hunter on the Whisperwind server, and right now I'm gonna talk to you about the lore of Gnomeregan. Now Gnomeregan is an underground or was an underground capital city at the foot of the Ironforge Mountains, and it used to be the old home of the gnomes, but now it's infested with trogs and leper gnomes as well as radiation. And to tell you the story about Gnomeregan, you have to know the background of the gnomes and two people, or two very important people that caused what Gnomeregan would be today. So, to first go into gnomes. Gnomes are a very peculiar race of tinkers and inventors. Now, if you ever interacted with gnomes in the game, you can see that they're quite perky and just very fun to be around. Now, the people of the gnomes don't really have a king, and they never had a king for about 400 years. What they would rather do is vote for the greatest tinker of that time, and then that person will become the High Tinker, which is kind of like their president. Now, the High Tinker, they have authority to do anything within the 7 or 8 years while they are in office, and at that time, when they step down, a new High Tinker will be voted in their place. Now, there are two great High Tinkers that were in place before the fall of Gnomeregan, Galbin Mechatork and Sickle Thermoplug. Now, both of these guys were the best of friends while growing up. Now let's go into Sickle Thermoplug. Now he was born frail, but he was also brilliant and ambitious, and has aimed for the title of the High Tinker ever since he could remember. And to do this, he charmed everybody that he met to get them onto his side, as well as created one great invention after another. And he wanted to become the first true king of the gnomes, which they have not had for 400 years, and even he had plotted to drive the neighboring dwarves out of their home of Ironforge in the name of progress to expand Gnomeregan. However, when the Council of Tinkers decided to choose the next High Tinker, they thought that Sickle was too ambitious to become the High Tinker, so they chose his best friend Galbin instead. And that day, the sanity of Sickle broke and he started plotting revenge against his former best friend. Now, through his influence and intelligence, Sickle gained the seat of the High Tinker's chief advisor. Now, let's talk about Galbin Mechatork. Galbin Mechatork is one of the greatest and most renowned tinkers of all time, and he is a kind and good gnome. He was also the one who created the Deep Run tram that connected Ironforge to Stormwind, and he was also responsible for creating the flying machines that we see today, as well as researching any anti-scourge weaponry. Now, Galbin took the title of King of the Gnomes when he took the title the High Tinker, and later on, Gnomeregan was overrun by invading trogs. Now, trogs are mutated earthens who are the original life forms on Azeroth created by the Titans. Trogs are brutish and they will fight and eat pretty much anything, and that includes each other. And because of their cannibalistic nature, the Titans decided that these beings were a mistake and a mutation that had influence with the old gods, so they decided to bury them in the mountains of Khazmodan, which we now know resides with Gnomeregan and Ironforge. Now, because they were sealed away for hundreds of years, and they were released when the dwarfs started exploring and dug too deep into Alderman, and thus they were released. And as a result, they've been invading many areas, and that included Gnomeregan. Now, when the Trogs began to invade Gnomeregan, it was during the Third War, when the Alliance and Horde were fighting against the Burning Legion. Now, although the Gnomes assisted the Alliance in the Second War against the Horde, they suddenly decided to pull away their forces while still assisting the alliance with their technology and plans, they actually offered them no people in order to help them. Now, the alliance were first confused as to why this was, and eventually found out that the gnomes pulled away in order to fight for their city, Gnomeregan, and they didn't want the alliance to know about their threat so that their attention doesn't divert away from the Burning Legion. Now, through their resistance against the invading Drogs in Gnomeregan, eventually Sickle Thermoplug suggested to Gelbin, the High Tinker, that they should set off a radiation bomb to wipe out the Trogs. Now, even though some gnomes would die, it would be for the greater good to save the gnomish race. And eventually, Sickle convinced Gelbin to do this, and thus the radiation bomb was set off in Gnomeregan. And then Sickle told Gelbin that he should open the ventilation systems to flush the radiation throughout Gnomeregan to kill off all the Trogs. However, doing this, the radiation killed off half of Gnomeregan's inhabitants, but not as many Trogs, and so the Trogs' advance continued. Now, the surviving gnomes had to flee Gnomeregan, and they found refuge within their dwarven cousin's home Ironforge. And now Gnomeregan is infested with Trogs, radiation, leper gnomes because of the radiation, and also other trap gnomes. Gelbin later discovered that Sickle was a traitor, as he knew what would happen once they released the radiation bomb, as well as opening the ventilation systems. And he also knew about the invasion of the Trogs before it began. And he did all this in the name of being the High Tinker. And now, Sickle resides in Gnomeregan, and he is in a crazed state, ruling over the leper gnomes, who have also been driven crazy by the radiation. And he's constantly creating inventions for world domination, and as well as just fighting anyone who disturbs his work. Now, Gelbin, he is tortured every single day over the guilt of his fallen brethren, and is constantly planning for ways to take back Gnomeregan from the invading Trogs and the leper gnomes, as well as to eliminate the toxic radiation that flushes throughout Gnomeregan, which is the main reason that the gnomes can't return to their home. And so that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. Till next time.
Subscribe, or suffer the wrath of
the Naked Gnome Stampede. Bow, 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 chicka wow wow, bow, 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 chicka wow wow. Subscribe.